The boys are back in town. 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 Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Multi-Voice Entertainment. I'm the Multi-Voice Reviewer. I have many voices, but one opinion. And today I decided to take a break on the science fiction review and decided to review something that I grew up. I want to review an action film with the greatest action stars that I grew up ever since the 90s. Heck, I was born in the 80s, grew up in the 90s, got used to all the action stars and the action movies these days. So I decided to review something that not many people never thought I'd be able to review, The Expendables. So let's get started, shall we? What can I say about The Expendables? Actually, what the hell can I not say about The Expendables? It's like a reunion to all the great action stars from the 80s and 90s. And of course, some that are modern today. And of course, as you can see, I decided to not dress up as the Doctor, but wear a little something that's pretty much like I'm dressed up as one of the Expendables, except this leather vest is pretty tight to me. It's a size medium. It's a size medium, and I'm kind of an extra large. But anyway, let's get on with the review. And of course, the shades. And wait a minute. Something about my hands. I knew I had something. Oh. Excuse this. Leather vest, leather seat, makes a sound. Sounds like I let one go. Or either that or maybe the broccoli I had. Ah, here we go. The Expendables always wore gloves. Almost forgot about the gloves. You cannot be an Expendable without wearing a black shirt, leather vest, and black gloves, and sometimes shades. But let's get to the Expendables, shall we? Now, a little roll call, and the actors who play them is, of course, the Expendables is led by none other than Barney Ross, played by
Sylvester Stallone. I am your worst nightmare. Survive a war, you have to become war.
The shades like to slide down to my face. And of course, he has his buddy, his best friend, named Lee Christmas, played by Jason Statham. Damn, I don't even have a bloody catchphrase. Out of all the action movies in the world, I don't have a bloody catchphrase. Wankers. And of course, Yin Yang, the Kung Fu master actor himself, Jet Li. I guess they couldn't get Jackie Chan, so they got Jet Li instead. And of course, we got Gunnar Jensen, played by
Dolph Lundgren. I must break you.
That's the only character I know because of that boxer he played on Rocky IV. And of course, and we also have Hell Caesar, played by Terry Crews. And of course, Toll Road, played by Randy Quarter. Now, the only thing I know about Randy Quarter is that he was a former kickboxer, become actor. At first I thought he was a wrestler, but actually he's a kickboxer. They're all together to do a mission, save the hostages from the pirates, and of course Gunnar, being the crazy one, he decided to play a little game called Hanging Pirates. Gather up all the wounded pirates and put a rope around them and hang them, which that's uncalled for. It's not a good idea. And of course, after the mission was over, he went to the bar where he met a former member of the Expendable, Tool, played by Mickey Rourke. Which I gotta say, Mickey Rourke, he's a good actor, but damn, that guy needs to stop taking too many of those cosmetic surgery on his face. I know he's getting old, but facelift doesn't help. I mean, I'm always against cosmetic surgeries. I mean, if I'm getting old, I don't need I don't need no plastic surgery to make me look younger. That's bullcrap. I'm against it. And then all of a sudden he has a contact to somebody who's giving him a mission. And he walks into a church, so he met Mr. Church, played by Bruce Willis. Yippee-ki-yay, sucker. And of course another actor who shows up is, of course, Trench, played by former governor of California himself, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Hasta la vista, baby. I'll be back. And they told him that they have a mission. They need to go to a Hispanic island, because there is a general who is pretty much hurting a lot of innocent people in this country. General Garza. And of course, they have a contact, a girl who goes by the name of Sandra, what not many people know, that she's the general's daughter. But of course, it turns out that they're not going after the general. They're going after the bad guy who plays the puppet to the general, named James Monroe, played by Eric Roberts. I mean, I know Eric Roberts appeared in a lot of action films, but he's still a terrible actor ever. While at the same time, Jason Statham is trying to Lee Christmas, he's trying to talk to a girl that he has a huge crush on, which he loves very much, named Lacey, played by Charisma Sharpender. You know, the same actress from the Buffy the Vampire Slayer movies, which I gotta say, she's a lot holler than Sarah Michelle Gellar. But that's just my opinion. And of course, it turns out that one of James Monroe's men is, of course, there's Payne, played by Stone Cold Steve Austin. I don't like wrestlers. I mean, they always ham up their scenes sometimes. Although I do like, it's too bad that he passed away, but I do like Rowdy Roddy Piper from They Live. You know, the one where he wears the shades, walking into a bank with a shotgun saying, "I come here to chew bubble gum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubble gum." You know, it would have been really cool if Rowdy Roddy Piper was in these movies. But anyway, they got into the country, save Sandra, get rid of the general, and went after James, a.k.a. Eric Roberts. So, the mission was a success, and that was the end. That was it. And of course, Christmas went to Lacey. Turned out she was with a guy who was abusive, so let's just say that Christmas came and he beat up Lacey's boyfriend like a bitch. And that was the end of the Expendable 1. Now, let's talk about the sequel known as The Expendable 2. Now, The Expendable 2, they have a couple of cast members here. In Expendable 2, they have a youngster who joined their team who goes by the name of Billy the Kid, played by Liam Hemsworth. I guess Chris Hemsworth is too busy playing Thor. So his brother takes over. And then from out of nowhere, they found another bad guy named Valen. Velen. Yeah, his name is Velen, played by Jean-Claude Van Damme. Let's just hope that this time he ain't doing his martial art fights pantsless. Because everybody knows he always liked doing his kung fu fights pantsless. Showing off his little bottom. And their contact, they're supposed to meet this Asian girl named Maggie, played by Nanyu. And it kind of turns out that she seemed to have a thing for Sylvester Stallone's character, Barney. And then from out of nowhere, out comes Booker, played by Chuck Norris. I think he's still hiding that third fist under that beard of his. And I remember the conversation between Sylvester Stallone and Chuck Norris going like,
"Rumor has it you were bitten by a king cobra."
"Yeah, I have. But after 5 days of agonizing pain, the cobra died." Okay. And it got really interesting when Arnold Schwarzenegger, aka Trench, and of course Mr. Church, Bruce Willis himself, showed up to help the party. They showed up to help them to go after Velen. And all that action and gunfire and everything, it's all pretty awesome. I mean, that was a pretty awesome scene. And I remember the conversation between Arnold Schwarzenegger and Bruce Willis going like, "I'm almost out. I'll be back." "You've been back enough. I'll be back." "Yippee-ki-yay." And then Chuck Norris shows up and Arnold says, "Who's next? Rambo?" Which you're with a guy who plays Rambo. And they finally went one-on-one with Jean-Claude Van Damme. You know, I wish that somebody should do a movie of Jean-Claude Van Damme versus Steven Seagal. Two of the most hammiest, arrogant action stars in history. But I guess if somebody does do a movie with Jean-Claude Van Damme and Steven Seagal, I bet Steven Seagal will probably argue with the producers and want things his way. I mean, I hear that working with Steven Seagal is a nightmare. I guess that's why they never let him have a part in any of the Expendables, because he'll probably ask for something that is very annoying. But anyway, let's get to the Expendables 3, ladies and gentlemen. On this one, Terry Crews, a.k.a. Hail Caesar, he gets shot, but they didn't kill him off. I mean, he's just wounded pretty bad. While at the same time, they're trying to get one of the former members is none other than Doc, played by Wesley Snipes. And I remember him from Blade. "Suckers like you always try to ice skate the bill." I always love him in Blade. Although I couldn't believe that the MCU were planning to do a new Blade, but sadly they kind of put it on hold. But I bet this new Blade movie they're planning may not be as good. Probably is just not the same without Wesley Snipes in it. And then we meet a new villain who goes by the name of Stonebanks, played by Mel Gibson.
"They can take our lives, but they can take our freedom!"
Sometimes I do feel like I am getting too old for this shit. But it turns out that Mr. Church, aka Bruce Willis, is no longer in charge anymore. So now they have a new member who goes by the name of Drummer, played by Harrison Ford. "That belongs in a museum." I love doing Harrison Ford and always kept saying, "That belongs in a museum." Of course, I'll be doing some Star Wars reference. Well, laugh it up, fuzzball. And after the loss of Hail Caesar, he decided to let the team go. And even though it did piss him off, Festus Stallone is trying to recruit some new members. So he contacted an old friend of his who goes by the name of Bonaparte, played by Kelsey Grammer. Never thought of seeing him as an action star, because most of the time I always see him in Cheers and Frasier. I remember that one scene on Frasier when he was fighting with his brother, and his brother says, Wait, I remember. You used to crept out on my crib and started throttling me. You stole my mommy! But anyway, Bonaparte wanted him to meet some new recruits who was willing to be the new members of the Expendable. So first off, he meets Thorne, played by Glenn Powell. Now, one thing I gotta say about Glenn Powell, I mean, I remember in my last review I said who I think who should play Booster Gold. Yeah, I mean, I'm sticking by it, but now I heard that they're planning on having Glenn Powell playing Booster Gold, which I gotta say, okay, alright. I do see some potential of him playing Booster Gold. After all, Booster Gold is arrogant and cocky and only wants to be a superhero in order to be famous. And Glenn Powell, I see his performance in that series, Scream Queen, and I have to say, not bad. Playing a arrogant, cocky, show-off idiot. And he got that. I mean, he got it right down to the grenade pin. So I would say that he would do pretty good as Booster Gold. But anyway, they also meet another guy who goes by the name of Mars, played by Victor Ortiz, who's like a weapons expert. And of course Thorne, he is he's a climber and also a hacker. And of course they needed a muscle, so they meet a female member, since most of the members of the Expendables is a bit of a sausage fest. So pretty much they decided to bring in some women into this, and one of the greatest women in the group, the new member, is of course Luna, played by Ronda Rousey. Oh damn, Ronda Rousey, of all. Oh. When I see her fight, I'm getting a little hot under the collar. And I tell you, if I met Ronda Rousey and she puts me in a sleeper, I'll be dreaming of her every time she puts me in a sleeper. I mean, what can I say? I love a girl who is a real badass. And the muscles to match. And also, they also recruited another youngster, who turns out that he's going to be like the new leader in case something happens to Festus Stallone. Smiley, played by Carolyn Letts. And then another member who is more of an acrobat is none other than Galgo, played by Antonio Banderas. Si, señorita. Legendary Antonio Banderas himself, playing Galgo. And the way how Antonio Banderas is playing his character, he's a blabbermouth. He talks too much. He doesn't have any friends. He's desperately wanted a job to be one of the Expendables and just go into deadly mission, get himself killed. So Festus Stallone have no choice but to hire him. And surprisingly, they went all the way to get Stonebanks, but it turns out it was an ambush, and all the young recruiters all got captured. So all that's left is Festus Stallone and Antonio Banderas, a.k.a. Galgo. And much to his surprise, the old members showed up. Even though he burned bridges, But once an expendable, always expendable. They're not letting him leave and without a fight. So they decide to help join. Now, Drummer was telling Festus Stallone to get Stonebanks alive, but that's the thing. He's not coming out alive. I mean, he always keeps capturing members and getting them killed. So there is no choice but to find him and kill him. That's the only option. So Drummer decided to change his outfit into his airplane pilot, and of course, having help with Arnold Schwarzenegger Trent himself and Yin Yang, aka Jet Li. They decided to join with Drummer to fly, and Drummer's flying his helicopter over to give him some air support. This is off the books, so therefore, I'm not here. So together they all fought all the bad guys who works with Stonebanks, until it came down to Festus Stallone and Mel Gibson's first fight. And of course, Festus Stallone won. So even though they haven't captured Stonebanks, the mission was a success. So it kind of showed that they did a really great job as a bunch of expendables. And then, all of a sudden, after Part 3 was done, they decided to do Part 4. Now, there was a lot of changes involved, believe it or not. We have a new member who goes with a new villain who goes with the name of Ramit, played by Iko Uraz. And he's a very dangerous bad guy. They try to stop him. And here we go with the new members. I mean, we have Dolph Lundgren, we have Randy, Dolph Lundgren, Randy, and of course Jason Statham and Festus Stallone. But no Hail Caesar or Doc. They get replaced by Easy Day, played by 50 Cent. And no Antonio Banderas this time. This time, Antonio Banderas' son, who goes by the name of Golan, played by Jacob Scorpio, he takes over as Antonio Banderas' character. And it turns out that Lee Christmas has a new girl in his life. I guess things didn't go well between him and Lacey. So now he has Jenny, played by the ever-so-sexy Megan Fox. And one thing I gotta say about Megan Fox, what a fox. Whew! And of course, they have another member, a female member, who goes by the name of Lash, played by Levy Train. Levy Train, that's her name. Either way, she's still hot. It's the Asian thing. I can't help it. And it turns out they have a new guy in charge here. This time it ain't Drummer or Mr. Church, but Marsh, played by Andy Garcia. And of course, he also has a personal assistant who helps him out, who goes by the name of Rossi, played by Lucy Newman-Williams. And as it turns out, most of the members of the Expendables were trying to go after Ramat, but it failed because they have a nuclear bomb that they took. And when when Festus Stallone was flying the plane, he got hit pretty bad, so the plane crashes, and therefore Festus Stallone's character died. And due to the loss of Festus Stallone, there's a lot of arguments and bickering going on. And of course, Marsh decided to kick Christmas out. So Jason Statham is not going into the next mission, but his girlfriend Jenny is. But of course, Christmas always have a trick up his sleeve. He's given her an expendable knife, which it has a tracker in it, so he can know what they are on his phone. And as these new Expendables that Marsh assembled went out to their mission in order to get Ramit, Christmas himself went to the island and found Desha, played by Tony Jaa. And Desha has a past with Ramit, and of course it turns out that that Ramit is working with somebody who goes by the name of, now I forgot what they're called. What some sort of animal? Is it? No, not mongoose, not weasel, not. Oh well, forget it. And all of a sudden, Jenny and her team got captured. So Jason Statham, aka Christmas, and of course Desha, showed up to save the day. Got the team together and do their mission. It turns out that Marsh, their leader, the kidnap was a setup. Turns out that he was the leak. He was the bad guy, and he was the one behind taking the bomb and everything. And of course what they wanted is to release one of their prisoners into their boat. Turns out the prisoner know who the mastermind is, so Marsh can capture him and kill him, so there won't be any loose ends. So the team decided to take down Marsh's groups, and of course the detonation, he threw the detonation away, so now the bomb's going to explode wherever they're going to go. And he's setting the boat to another country so the Expendables can take the blame for not doing their mission. But of course, Jason Statham knows how to control a boat, so he made sure that the boat stays in one place and get destroyed before it explodes in the middle of the ocean. And surprisingly enough, Festus Stallone survived. Turns out that he had a fake body to take his place while he faked his death, because he knew Marsh was crooked. So, the team is back together once again, and that was the end of the Expendables, all four of those movies. But believe it or not, I also heard that they were talking about making another one, except this one has an all-female cast called The Expendables. Now, I would love to see the all-female cast of The Expendables, or Expendables. And they did ask Sigourney Weaver, but she said no. Really? No? Damn. And I love Sigourney Weaver. She's a badass of them all. Especially when she said that one line on the movie Aliens. Get away from her, you bitch! Damn, I love that line. But I'm sure that the Expendables, I mean, I don't know when they're going to make the movie or not. Although with the whole woke stuff, I thought they would make it, but they didn't. So I guess it's still under, I don't know if it's either canceled or still under development. Or on hold. I don't know. But there's one thing I also discovered. Did you know that there was an Expendable ripoff that they made? And this one was an all-female cast, but it was really damn good. And, well, since it's like the Expendables, what the hell? The ripoff movie they made was called The Mercenaries. And what is it about? It's about this president's daughter named Elsa, played by Tiffany Penhallison. I hope I got her last name right. She gets kidnapped by a Soviet leader named Eureka, played by Bridget Nelson. Yeah, the same Bridget Nelson who is Sylvester Stallone's ex-wife and Flavor Flav's ex-wife. Yeah, I saw that reality TV where Bridget Nelson and Flavor Flav was having their moments. So Mona, played by Cynthia Rothrick, the former famous kung fu fighter and action star, she starts assemble a whole team of badass women together. First, it starts out with Cassandra Clay, played by Australian former stunt woman and action star Zoe Bell. Kate Morgan, played by the former model, now action star Kristanna Loken, which I really love her performance on Terminator 3. And of course, Mei-Lin Fong, played by Nicole Bilderback. And also Raven, played by Vanna Fox. Now, I don't want to talk much on this movie because it would take too long, but I gotta say that movie was pretty damn good. Well, I'm done. That is all I can say for today. So, if any of you like my review of The Expendable, please leave a comment down below, hit like, and subscribe. I'm the multi-voice reviewer as a brand new Expendable. I remember so I can jog your memory.